Shai Bashim Kakwadash, and the bonus to the apostles and other great millstone. Shalom to the Akim teaching his word throughout the four corners. In true sincerity, I'm back with another lesson through the spirit by Yahbashim Al Shai. That wouldn't be edifying unto the elect of Yahbashim Al Shai. Okay, the true name of God is Yahweh, which means he is or he exists. The name of his son is Yahweh Shai, which means he saves or he delivers. Alright. Okay, the true prophets, the true men of the Lord, the true pastors are so-called, Hebrew Israelites that you see, on the highways and byways, teaching the truth in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Alright. We are sent out, or the Lord put the spirit on us to, go out, and teach the truth, because we are living in the last days. We are living in times of prophecy. As you can see, we are living in the most wickedest, times in history. Alright. The men are completely wicked. The women are extremely, wicked. The earth is out of course. Okay, but, with that, being the intro, the topic of this lesson is really going into, this right here. When brought low, faith should flourish. When I am weak, I am strong. Okay, when brought low, your faith should flourish, because when I am weak, I am strong. All right. And this lesson really stems from, a brother, that passed, elder, in our camp, Karab. He said it, he mentioned it, we was having a conversation on the car and with the fellowship. He mentioned, I forget what the conversation topic was, but when he said it, it just always stuck with me, because when you are weak, you are strong. And he said, why? Because, when you are brought low, then you're in that state of, constantly calling out to, Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right, you should be able to know when you are being brought low, or even when you're going through any type of, chastisement or hell. All right, at that point, you should be, in the constant state of call upon Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right, because that's our power. All right, he's the one that delivers us out of all our troubles, the one that, that's there in our times of need. Okay, that's what the Lord does. He brings us low. So at that point, our only option, and it's always our only option, is to, call upon him, because it may be that, you may get too, comfortable. Shit may be too sweet for you. All right, and then some bullshit happen. Whatever the case may be, whether it's your job, your car, all right, whatever, you out and about, some shit happen, your woman, whatever the case may be, when these certain things happen, all right, and you feel like you catch a hell, you call upon Yahweh Shai Shai to amend, whatever is going into, fix whatever, all right, dross, whatever, error that, he's seen within you that caused that. Okay, so when you are weak, you are strong. All right, I'm gonna start with 2 Corinthians 12 or 10. It says, therefore I take pleasure. Well, I'm gonna start at 2 Corinthians 12 and 10. Oh, no, I'm starting at 9. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Right, So his strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, I will rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of my Mashiach may rest upon me. So, that's right. We have to glory in, our different, infirmities. And what's the word for infirmity? Because Paul had an infirmity, right? It is in want of strength, or weakness of the body. It's native weakness or frailty, slaki. Or if I said that right, feebleness of health or sickness of the soul, want of strength, and slaki. It says want of strength and capacity requisite to understand a thing. All right, to do great or glorious, to restrain corrupt desires, to bear, trials and troubles, which refers as weak, firm, feeble. So, glory enough, in our, weaknesses. Okay, so that the power of the Lord can work through you. of how the Lord, continues to be with you even though you're going through whatever the infirmity you're going through. To show you that even though you're going through this infirmity, the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh Shem Ashai is on you working so that you're still able to do the work and give praise unto His name. All right, so when that time ultimately comes, when the Lord comes with the healing in His wings and our bodies become changed, then it's going to be a much greater, report for you. Because even though you was going through this infirmity, all right, or you through it, you just had that, chink in your armor, whatever. Well, not chink in your armor, I'm not going to say that, but you was going through this infirmity. All right, you were still able to give praise to the Lord. You didn't give up. Like, it's too hard for me. You kept praying to the Lord to give you the strength, because some brothers, they have different infirmities that they just have to, deal with and endure. All right, but they still, get up, handle their personal business, and they still give praises, and they still, do the work. All right, So don't look at it as, damn, I'm just catching hell. The Lord is, counted blessed that you're still able to do the work, That you're still able to be a part of the elect. It said, therefore I take pleasure in infirmities and reproaches and necessities and persecutions, in distresses for Mashiach's sake. For when I am weak, I am strong. So, and when you're weak, you're strong. Going back to the topic, of the lesson. When you are weak, you're strong, because you're in a state of constantly calling upon the name Yahweh Shema Shai. And this reminds me of some Cap said, or lawyer, the head of Florida, our Cap, elder. He said when we was at fellowship, he said, the straight gate is the breeding ground, for miracles. And that really stuck with me. Because when you're going through that, that time of difficulty, and I'm gonna get an etymology. All right, for straight. It says a narrow confined space or place. It says in reference to a narrow patches of water connecting two larger bodies. All right, I really want to say the sense of difficulty, plight. All right. See what that says. Strict, exacting, stern, tight, close fitting, constricted, narrow. Okay, severely restrict, austere. So when we going through the straight gate, we constantly going through the straight gate. It's the breeding ground for miracles. Then you can see, acknowledge the works of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, when He does come through, eventually, no matter how long it take, it can be quick, it can be short, but that the Lord still set it up that you got delivered from whatever you was going through. Whether it was something physical, something spiritual that was happening to you, or something mentally that was on your mental, that was basically causing you hell. All right, because the fight is not only just a physical thing. Scripture say in Corinthians as well. I want to get it here. It's 2 Corinthians 4 and start at 8. It says, we are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not, destroyed. Always bearing about in the body the dying of the Lord Yahushua, that the life of Yahushua might be made manifest in our body. So, even though it may seem like we're troubled on every side, the Lord, it doesn't happen where it gets too, it's too much where you can't handle it. There's always a way out. All right, like the scripture saying, 2 Corinthians 10 and 13. No. Where is that? Can I pray? First Corinthians 10 and 13. It says, there had no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it. So, we're able to bear these things, because the Lord thinks we can bear these things, right? He's not going to give you something that you cannot handle, like it's too much for you, where you just fall out the truth. The Lord can do that, but He's not doing that to us. He's trying to mold us and build us up so we can come out, fine gold. All right? We have to learn, I should say. That's why we go through these different things, so that we learn, and then, we can, be delivered from it. Right? So we can be delivered from it. So through that stage of bearing it, you are skipping it. You learn like, all right, I see where you know, the error, you know, was. All right, but while you was in it, you were not being weak. You wasn't, you know, basically putting yourself down, like the scripture say, you know, to put off, you know, the weak nature, right? Second Corinthians 14:14 says, let go from the immortal thoughts and cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee. And haste thee to flee from these times. For yet greatest evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. So, you know, you have to cast off the burdens of man and put off that weak nature. All right, the Lord's calling us to be men, you know, first. All right. So whatever thoughts that may come to, you know, in our minds, you can't let those thoughts, you know, take a toll on you. You have to, all right, rebuke Satan and call upon the name Yahweh Hashem El Shai. Okay, because again, these are just attacks. Don't just think it's just you, all right? Because you may think it's you, but it's really Satan with your voice in your own mind. You just plaguing yourself, all right? You think it's you, but it's really not. All right, so that's why you gotta rebuke. You gotta rebuke, you know, constantly, because we're constantly, you know, going through, you know, things. And you may think it's normal, but it's really not. So you gotta call upon the Lord. All right, you don't want to stay in that down state. Okay, so for when I'm weak, I am strong. So when you feel weak, call upon the name Yahweh Hashem El Shai. And not only when you're weak, constantly call upon the name Yahweh Hashem El Shai. Right? Because again, as I said, we are trouble on every side. So on every side, meaning there's always something. All right, you may think you look that way, it's something. You look the other way, you look left, it's something. You look straight, it's something. You look right, it's something. You look behind you, it's something. So you have to constantly call upon the Lord. All right, because once you defeat the thing on the left, there's something on the right. You defeat that on the right, it's something in front of you. You defeat that, now something behind you. You defeat that, it's something again on the left. So it's always something, all right? But you're constantly, you know, being built up, and it's making you stronger. All right, you know? But that alone is lesson was edifying. I want to give our praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem El Shai Ba'Shem Chakwadah. You know, double honor to the apostles, elders, great millstone, and shalom to the Akim teaching. Dr. Four Corners, and sincerity, Yakim was out of here. Shalom.